Welcome back, gamers, to another OP pick or ban video, this time for patch 10.20. My name is Nathan Ng, and today we're going to be sharing our list of champions. We think that there aren't too many crazy changes that have been made this patch, so a lot of the picks that were good before will still probably be good. However, we've seen the stats, asked our high elo friends, and analyzed the champions played in Worlds to give you guys some new picks that are pick or ban in patch 10.20. Also, make sure you check us out at ProGuides.com for live courses and recorded lessons curated by pro players such as Doublelift and High, alongside with some high-ranked players to help you guys with your solo queue needs. We also offer a coaching service if you want that direct feedback on your gameplay, and don't forget, we also offer a coaching in the form of a VOD review if you guys can't find the time to schedule a session. We have all of the tools that you guys need in order to succeed in solo queue, so why waste time trying to figure out everything on your own? You'll save a bunch of time and frustration if you join us, so go ahead and try it out now. And one last thing before we begin, what are the champions that have surprised you the most during Worlds so far? I definitely did not expect the Twitch Recon pick to be that oppressive in lane, but they are able to make it look super good. We're going to be starting off top lane with Dwayne The Rock Malphite. He is an extremely good pick right now as he has no actual hard counter and can make huge game-winning plays with his ultimate. Your playstyle with this pick is the same with pretty much any tank, getting as much CS as possible and then zoning off the enemy if they walk up for CS. He will win pretty much any short trades with his auto into W, utilizing his shield to tank damage for a favorable trade. During the mid to late game stages of the game, you want to look for those nasty flanks with your ultimate on any target with no mobility and then just burst them down. So depending on what stage you are in the game or how fed your team is, you either want to look to burst the front line or ult the back line and zone them off from your teammates. Keep in mind that you don't always have to look for those huge ults, and you can simply hold it to peel for your teammates, using your ult only when you need more space. You want to take Grasp with Undying, Shield Bash, Conditioning, Overgrowth, Magical Footwear, and Biscuit Delivery. Build Ninja Tabby, Sunfire Cape, Iceborne Gauntlet, Thornmail, Abyssal Mask, and Gargoyle Stoneplate. Fiora is extremely strong right now and is one of those champions that can easily 1v9 and take over games when you really master the champion. Even if you don't have the champion mastered, don't worry, as she is still quite effective as a pick if you put in a couple of games on her and build up a general understanding of her kit. With that being said, the one thing that you should look out for this pick is try not to int your early game and try to get your mid game power spike as fast as possible. This advice might be obvious and can apply to any other champion, but this is even more important for Fiora because it is really easy to run it down on her kit, as it requires you to be up in their faces with your auto attacks in order to trade. What this means is that you might overextend and take a random turret shot and die, or you might just go for that mark but completely forget about the possibility of getting ganked, all hindered by your ability to scale. We also want to emphasize that Fiora isn't the best pick for teamfights, but it is a split pushing menace as she can take down turrets exceptionally fast with her Q and E, and then can win 1v1s or even 1v2 duels if played properly. But remember that you need to focus on CSing and creating a lead in order to pull this off successfully. You want to run Conqueror, Triumph, Alacrity, Last Stand, Magical Footwear, and Biscuit Delivery. You want to build Ravenous Hydra, Trinity Force, Death's Dance, Ninja Tabby, Serix Gauge, and Guardian Angel. Take another look at these top lane builds one more time to make sure that you got everything. First up in the jungle is Hecarim. He has a pretty strong pick for a couple patches now and is pretty crazy with his mobility and damage that can allow him to take over games. You can start off a gank by looking to eat the enemy back into your laner and then chopping them up with your Q and auto spam. You can take Ghost and Phase Rush so you can stick onto your targets with no problems whatsoever, and it's always a guaranteed flash burn. Your ganks become even better when you get level 6, as you can look for an AoE Fear to scatter the enemy team during a team fight. Just make sure you close out early because he does get outscaled against most champions. You want to take Phase Rush, Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, Water Walking, Sudden Impact, and Ravenous Hunter, and you want to build Trinity Force, Mercury Treads, Death's Dance, Serix Gauge, Cinder Hulk, and Spirit Visage. So, Panzer Dragon has finally reached rank 1, and the champion he abused the most is Nunu. We still think that he is extremely strong, even though he is losing 3 armor in patch 10.20. He will stay on top of the tier list because of his unique playstyle and because of how players simply just don't respect this pick at all. He is one of the most dominant junglers in high elo because players who are overly aggressive get punished easily, while the more smart, calculated players that respect Nunu will have to play safe and then give up pressure in their lanes because they have no idea where Nunu is. So if you're the one playing Nunu, make sure you take a peek at every single lane once in a while and see who your next target is. One last but very important thing to keep in mind is to not show on the map unless you need to. Control vision by using your sweeper and picks to deny vision and apply more pressure on the map. You want to take Phase Rush, Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, Water Walking, Cheap Shot, and Relentless Hunter. Build Cinder Hulk, Mercury Treads, Dead Man's Plate, Spirit Visage, Gargoyle Stoneplate, and Thornmail. Fiddlesticks has made it into the list once again, and there's a good reason for that. His ultimate allows him to 1v9 to bring your team back into the game, or simply to secure an objective or a win. He also has one of the fastest clears in the game and can duel a bunch of other junglers after his first reset. With all of that in mind, your game plan should be revolving around how to get level 6 as fast as possible while using your ultimate whenever it's off cooldown. you will pretty much win every single fight if you get a solid ultimate on top of the enemy team. Also, one big plus for this pick is that he's not very mechanically intensive, so you don't need to completely outplay your opponents with flashy spells. Instead, all you really have to do is press Q to fear them, or just outplay your opponent with smart skirmishes and finding those ult angles where they least expect it. You want to take Dark Harvest, Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collection, Ultimate Hunter, Cosmic Insight, and Perfect Timing. You want to build Runic Echoes, Sorcerer's Shoes, Zanya's Hourglass, Merylnomicon, Rabadon's Deathcap, and Realized Crystal Scepter. Our favorite fish, Fizz, is starting off with our mid lane picks. Unless you guys like Nami, I don't know. We think that he's in a really good spot right now, especially for solo queue because of his strong traits in laning phase, effective gank setup, and his quick and safe assassination in the mid to late game. During the laning phase, you typically want to farm safely up until level 3, looking for small E trades if it's safe in most matchups. When you have all of your spells up, you want to look for a Q into an auto attack into a W to proc your electrocute for a nasty trade. If you know that you're safe from a jungle gank, you can look for an all-in with your E, and if not, you can simply walk away and use your E to dodge any hard-hitting spells. When you hit level 6, you can Q through a minion and use your ultimate through the middle of the dash to guarantee an ultimate landing. You can simply throw it out if the enemy is not respecting the range of it as well. One tip for this pick is to make sure you don't overextend and use your E aggressively without knowing where the jungler is, as they will typically wait for you to use your escape before they go in. You're pretty much as good as dead if you use your whole kit and the jungler is right there. You want to take Electrocute, Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, Ravenous Hunter, Triumph, and Coup de Grace. You want to build Hextech Proto Belt, Sorcerer's Shoes, Lich Bane, Zanya's Hourglass, Rabadon's Deathcap, and Void Staff. Next up on the list we have Ahri. Ahri has been seeing a bunch of success in solo queue with a pretty decent win rate in all elo brackets, and we think a good reasoning behind that is because she has all the tools and the right numbers to make her good in the current meta. She has wave clear, sustain, gank setup, and her charm to be able to catch people out of position. Not only that, she's a lot easier to get the hang of compared to the other meta picks such as Zed and Yone, so if you already have experience with Ahri, you're already ahead of the curve. You pretty much want to play her like any standard mid-mage assassin by focusing on farming and only taking trades when they are favorable. Ahri does not have the greatest base stats, and she relies on items to be able to pop off and deal a bunch of damage. With that all being said, you want to keep that CS in check and look for a gank mid when you hit level 6, as it becomes a lot easier to set one up. During the mid to late game parts of the game, you simply want to look for those flash or ult charms onto any target, preferably the squishy ones, and then look to burst them down before they can do anything. One last thing to add is that with this build, it is so much easier to land your charm and pick people off when they are out of position because of your Glacial Augment and GLP with Twin Shadows, so make sure you utilize those actives. You want to take GLP, Twin Shadows, Sorcerer's Shoes, Rabadon's Deathcap, Zanya's Hourglass, and Void Staff. And on the screen we have the runes, so go ahead and check those out. Alright, we're going to go into the bot lane, and we've been talking about Samira for a while now on this channel, and we still think that she is really good in the current meta, which is kind of no surprise to anybody. She has a bunch of play-making potential and can 1v9 in the right circumstances, so it's perfect for you players that like to take her into the hyper carry role. For this pick, the most important thing is to always limit test, and I'm saying that very loosely, don't feed. And always understand when you have the opportunity to look for a good trade or for an all-in, as you need to get ahead early to transition into the mid or late game. On the other hand, if you don't know how to properly obtain her lead, or even worse, into down the bot lane by actually limit testing quote unquote, she will be completely useless since she is extremely short ranged and has no utility to offer the team. Anyway, Samira is an extremely good pick against teammates with little to no CC to cancel your ultimate when your team has a bunch of CC and utility to help you pop off. You want to take Conqueror, Triumph, Legend Bloodline, Coup de Grace, Ravenous Hunter, and Taste of Blood. You want to take Essence Reaver, Berserker Grease, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Death's Dance, and Bloodthirster. So if any of you guys have been watching Worlds, you may have noticed that Twitch has been popping off a lot. His ability to cloak and look for assassinations throughout the entire game allows him to get random gold leads and then speed up his 3-item power spike and be able to one-shot the enemy backline with a couple of seconds. This pick is extremely OP when paired with any support that can hard CC or follow up with their engages. Champions such as Rakan are really good because he can jump to you when you're cloaked and look for a knockup, or an Alistar because he can easily peel for your front line while you pelt him with your ultimate. One thing that is specific to this pick is that he has a unique playstyle. What Twitch wants to do for a team fight is look for a nice flank angle to get the perfect ultimate onto the backline. So Twitch can either play for a standard front to back team fight or look to engage on the backline, which is riskier but a little bit more fun. The runes are going to be on the screen, and the build is going to be Blade, Berserker, Runins, IE, Phantom, and Mercurial Scimitar. In any case that you missed those, here are those ADC builds one more time. Leona is currently in a really good spot for all-in tank supports. She excels against most melee supports as she can simply look for an all-in using her E and then chain CC the target if you walk up too far. For range matchups, she has to look for those windows to go in, but if you can and you do find it, it will be extremely easy to get a free kill. In addition, most meta ADCs right now are immobile and are very susceptible to Leona's all-in, so this pick is pretty much able to force the enemy bot lane to play very cautiously because one E from Leona will probably lead to a free kill. The enemy has to play even more cautiously when she gets level 6 as the range on her ultimate is quite long, longer than you might expect. With that said, the only con that we can think of for this champion is that her playstyle is quite one-dimensional and it's easy to read what your intentions are in lane. But don't sweat, because even if you don't know that you're looking for an all-in, you can scare them off the minions if they respect you a little bit too much. You want to take Aftershock, Font of Life, Bone Plating, Overgrowth, Biscuit Delivery, and Cosmic Insight. You want to build Bulwark of the Mountain, Boots of Mobility, Zeke's Convergence, Knight's Vow, and Locket of the Iron Solari, as well as Gargoyle's Stoneplate. Swain is a mage bot lane that is extremely OP in the mid to low elo brackets of solo queue because of his easy stat checking E ability. Throughout laning phase, you pretty much want to throw out your E whenever the support randomly walks up or when the ADC looks for a last hit on the minions. If you manage to catch one, then you might simply want to pull them in and then use your W right under them to guarantee that the spell hits, and then finish off the combo with your Q if you're in range of it. If they are low enough, you can simply look for an all-in with your AD and then use your ultimate for extra damage. You typically want to pick this into range support because they are typically pretty squishy, and you can burn a flash or get a kill if you land the snare. The pick isn't the best into all supports as you have no effective way to peel them off of you. Personally though, I wouldn't worry too much about landing your E because I know the ProGuides community, and you guys are a total catch. You want to take Electrocute, Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collection, Ultimate Hunter, Presence of Mind, and Legend Tenacity. You want to build Shard of True Eyes, Leandri's Torment, Sorcerer's Shoes, Zanya's Hourglass, Murilonomicon, and Rabadon's Death Cap. And now, before we go, here's a recap of the support builds. Well, that pretty much sums up this video. Don't forget to join our family at ProGuides.com or through our Discord with the link down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.